My grandpa's lawyer asked which one of us was ready to confess, and the next 5 minutes destroyed our family. We were all gathered in the lawyer's office for the reading of Grandpa's will. The beach house was worth $2.3 million and everyone wanted it. My mom, my aunts, uncles, cousins, even the step-siblings who barely knew Grandpa showed up in nice clothes pretending to be sad. The lawyer opened the folder and read the beach house goes to one person in this room. But before I reveal who, someone here needs to confess. They know what they did. You have 5 minutes. If no one comes forward, the house goes to charity. Everyone looked around. The lawyer sat back and folded his arms. 4 minutes 50 seconds. Silence, then chaos. My cousin Jade stood up so fast her chair scraped the floor. Fine, I'll confess. She was shaking. I run a YouTube channel where I film myself giving money to homeless people, but I take the money back after I stop recording. It's just content. I have 13,000 subscribers, her mom gasped. I shared those videos at church, Jade, before anyone could react. My quiet cousin Emily stood up. Since we're confessing, she looked around. I put Grandma's ashes in the Thanksgiving turkey stuffing. Screaming started, actual screaming. We ate Grandma, just a sprinkle. She always said she wanted to be part of one last family dinner. The aunt who made the gravy ran out of the room gagging. The lawyer didn't flinch. 4 minutes left. Uncle Steve cleared his throat. Everyone turned. He was looking at his brother, my Uncle Pete. Remember when you got arrested on that road trip in 2017? The pills they found in your car. Uncle Pete's face went dark. What about them? I planted them. The room exploded. Uncle Pete knocked his chair over. I did 6 months. I lost my job. My wife left me. You slept with my girlfriend in college. That was 1987. And I waited 30 years. Revenge has no expiration date. Uncle Pete had to be physically restrained by 3 people. The lawyer checked his watch. 3 minutes. The step-siblings in the corner exchanged a look. Then the step-brother spoke. We've been together for 4 years. His steps nodded. Their mom turned to their dad. I told you we shouldn't have let them share the cabin that summer. You said it would help them bond. Leah shrugged. It did. Their mom started crying. Someone knocked over a water pitcher. No one cleaned it up. My cousin Derek pointed at my cousin Jason. While we're at it, that's not Uncle Ray's kid, that's the mailman's kid. Aunt Sheila told me when she was drunk. Uncle Ray turned to his wife. She shrugged. You were gone a lot, Ray. I was in the military, exactly. Uncle Ray put his head in his hands. Jason just laughed. I've known since I was 12. Why do you think I never came to Father's Day? 2 minutes, the lawyer announced. My cousin Tyler spoke next. I go to children's hospitals dressed as Spider-Man and tell sick kids I'm from Make-A-Wish. Silence. So they think they're dying, only for like 10 minutes, then I leave. Tyler, what the duck? 1 minute, the lawyer shouted. Everyone looked at my brother Daniel. The golden child, the surgeon, the one mom bragged about at every book club meeting. He loosened his tie. I'm not actually a surgeon, gasps. Every morning I put on scrubs, kiss my wife goodbye, drive to Chuck E. Cheese and play in the ball pit until 5:00 p.m. His wife started shaking. For 7 years the balls are therapeutic. Linda, my mom, grabbed the table. I told everyone my son saves lives. I've saved a lot of tickets, Mom. I have 40,000 ski ball tickets. Linda was hyperventilating. We have a mortgage, Daniel, and I have a ball pit. My cousin Megan, the one who lost all the weight, suddenly blurted out, I ate my mattress. Dead silence, piece by piece. That's how I really lost it. Memory foam has no calories, someone whispered. The whole mattress, everything but the springs, took 3 years. The quiet cousin who made us eat Grandma pointed at Jade. At least I didn't fake being a philanthropist. Jade fired back. At least I didn't give everyone food poisoning. That was salmonella. It wasn't my fault. Uncle Ray still spiraling. Can we go back to the part where my son isn't my son? Time's up, the lawyer's voice boomed, cutting through the noise. But then he did something unexpected. He looked at the chaos, the weeping mother, the hyperventilating surgeon, the man who just found out his son was the mailman's, and he reached out and stopped the timer. He laid the hourglass on its side. Actually, the lawyer said, a twisted curiosity in his eyes, I'm pausing the clock. This is far too interesting to stop now. Keep going. The house is still in play. The silence that followed was heavy. It wasn't the silence of peace. It was the silence of a dam about to burst. My Aunt Sarah, the one who always wore pearls and judged everyone's table manners, stood up shakily. She was gripping the edge of the mahogany table so hard her knuckles were white. "Since the clock is paused," she whispered, her voice cracked, "and since Daniel admitted to the ball pit." She looked at her daughter, my cousin Chloe, who was currently a sophomore at Yale. "Chloe, you're not at Yale," Aunt Sarah said. Chloe blinked, confused. "Mom, I just finished midterms." "No," Sarah said, her voice trembling. "You think you're at Yale. I've been forging your acceptance letters, your report cards, and your tuition receipts for 2 years. You didn't get in, honey." "What?" Chloe asked, her voice small. "Then, where have I been going?" "I rented an apartment in New Haven and hired actors to be your professors," Sarah blurted out. "The campus tour. I paid students to walk around with you. The classes. I rented a conference room at the local library and put a Yale sticker on the door." I have a 4 GPA, Chloe stammered. "You have a 4 in nothing, Chloe. It cost me $300,000. I spent your entire trust fund on actors." "You spent the trust fund," Uncle Mike roared from the back. "That wasn't just for Chloe, that was the family emergency fund." "It was an emergency," Sarah shrieked. "She's not bright, Mike, she needed the win." Before Uncle Mike could lunge at her, my cousin Rick, the successful investment banker, stood up. He was sweating profusely. "Speaking of funds," Rick said, loosening his collar, "you know how I've been investing everyone's money, Grandma's estate, Uncle Steve's retirement, the safe, aggressive portfolio." "Don't say it, Rick," Uncle Steve warned, his eyes narrowing. "I didn't invest it in stocks," Rick said, talking fast now. "I bought an alpaca farm." "A what?" "Alpacas, in Peru. I thought the wool market was going to boom. It didn't boom, it crashed. Then the alpacas got a disease. They're all bald, Steve. I have 400 bald alpacas and $0. Your retirement is literally eating grass in the Andes right now." Uncle Steve looked like he was having a stroke. "You put my 401k into bald camels." "They're alpacas, there's a difference." The room was spinning. The lawyer was taking notes now. He looked like he was watching a car crash in slow motion. My great-aunt Beatrice, the matriarch of the family who was sitting in a wheelchair in the corner, tapped her cane on the floor. Thump, thump, thump. "You're all idiots," she rasped. "Amateurs." Everyone turned to the old woman. She had a blanket over her lap and looked harmless. She wasn't. "You want to know about the beach house?" Beatrice cackled. "The one you're all fighting over." "What about it, Aunt B?" my mom asked, wiping her eyes. "It's haunted," she said flatly. "Oh, shut up, B," Uncle Ray groaned. "We don't believe in ghosts." "I didn't say it was ghosts," Beatrice smiled, revealing yellow teeth. "I said it was haunted by me." She leaned forward. "For the last 10 years I've had a key. Every winter when you all close it up, I go down there. I didn't just stay there. I loosened the screws on the deck railing every year just a little bit, hoping one of you would lean too hard." The step-siblings looked horrified. We leaned on that railing all summer." "I know," Beatrice hissed. "I greased the stairs too, and you know that smell in the master bedroom, the one you couldn't find. I sewed raw shrimp into the curtain hems." "That smell drove Grandpa crazy," my mom shouted. "He tore the walls apart looking for a dead rat." "I know," Beatrice chuckled. "I sat in the corner and watched him do it. It was better than television." "Why?" Jade asked, horrified. "Why would you do that?" "Because he forgot my birthday in 1998, Beatrice said. "I hold a grudge, dear. Clearly, it runs in the family." Suddenly, my quiet Uncle Greg, the one who never spoke, the one who worked in IT, stood up. He looked calm, too calm. "I can beat that," Greg said. "Sit down, Greg," someone muttered. "No," Greg said. "I've been living in the attic of your house, Ray, for 8 months." Uncle Ray froze. "What?" "I lost my apartment," Greg shrugged. I had a key to your place. I sleep in the crawl space during the day. At night, when you and Sheila are asleep, I come down. I eat your leftovers. I watch your Netflix. I use your toothbrush." "You use my toothbrush," Sheila screamed, clutching her mouth. "I have gingivitis, Sheila. You might want to get that checked." "That's why the milk is always empty," Ray shouted. I thought I was going crazy. And Greg continued, "I'm the one who's been replying to your emails, Ray. When your boss asks for reports, I write them. When your mother emails, I reply. I've been living your life better than you have." The lawyer checked his watch, but he didn't stop them. The atmosphere shifted. It stopped being funny. It started getting dark, really dark. My cousin Brenda, a nurse, looked at the floor. Tears were streaming down her face. "I need to say something," she whispered. The room quieted down. Brenda was the nice one, the one who took care of everyone. "You know how Aunt Martha's cat, Mr. Whiskers, died last year?" Brenda asked. "Old age," Aunt Martha sobbed. "He was 18. "He wasn't 18, Brenda said. "He was 6, and he didn't die of old age. I backed over him in the driveway. I panicked, so I went to the shelter, bought a look-alike cat, and swapped them." "What?" Martha gasped. "But the new cat was mean," Brenda continued, shaking. "It bit me, so I backed over that one too." "You killed 2 cats." "4, Brenda wailed. "It was a bad month. I kept replacing them, and they kept getting in the way. The cat you have now, Martha, that's Mr. Whiskers number 5. He's a female. I painted his spots on with hair dye." Martha looked like she was going to faint. But then my brother Daniel, the fake surgeon, spoke up again. His voice was hollow. "That's nothing," Daniel said. "Remember Grandpa's miracle recovery in 2019, when the doctors said he had a week to live, and then suddenly he got better for 2 years?" "Yes," my mom said. "It was a blessing." "It wasn't a blessing," Daniel said. "I swapped his charts." Dead silence. The air left the room. "What do you mean?" Mom whispered. "I was at the hospital pretending to work, obviously, and I saw his chart. He was fine. It was just a bad infection. But the guy in the next room, he was dying. I bumped into the nurse's cart. I switched the clipboards." "Daniel," my mom choked out. "What happened to the other man?" "His family took him off life support," Daniel said, staring at his hands. "Because they thought he was terminal. They pulled the plug. He probably had the flu. I killed a stranger so Grandpa could get the VIP suite." "You killed a man." The lawyer actually stood up this time. That is actionable legal admission." "I wanted the points," Daniel screamed. "The ICU gives triple reward points on the cafeteria card." Pandemonium broke out. Real violence this time. Uncle Ray tackled Greg, the attic dweller. Aunt Martha was throwing heavy law books at Brenda, the cat killer. The Yale student was rocking back and forth, muttering about fake physics classes. "I burned the gazebo," Cousin Timothy shouted over the noise. "I just like fire." "I've been poisoning your protein shakes, bro," the gym rat cousin yelled at his twin. "That's why you're losing gains. I want to be the big one." "I stole the identity of a dead baby in 1987, Aunt Sheila screamed. "My name isn't Sheila. I'm a fugitive from Wisconsin." "I'm in love with my stepsister," the stepbrother yelled again, seemingly forgetting he'd already confessed. "I just really want to emphasize that." "I sold Grandpa's kidney on the black market," someone shouted from the back. Everyone froze. They turned to look at Uncle Bob. "He was alive," Bob defended himself. "He had 2, he didn't notice. I needed to pay off a loan shark." "You stole a kidney," Mom shrieked. "How?" "I know a guy. It was a back alley thing. We told Grandpa it was an appendectomy. He had his appendix out in 1950. He was senile, he didn't remember," Bob yelled. The lawyer looked terrified. He was backing toward the door. This wasn't a family anymore. It was a collection of felons, sociopaths, and monsters. The yelling reached a fever pitch. A chair went through the window. The fake surgeon was trying to perform CPR on the fainting aunt but clearly didn't know how. Enough! The lawyer's voice was a thunderclap. Everyone froze. Heavy breathing filled the room. We looked like a war zone. Clothes torn, faces red, relationships shattered beyond repair. "Time is up," the lawyer said, his voice trembling with disgust. "God help me, time is up." He looked at us with pure loathing. "Nobody confessed," he said. "Nobody confessed to what this is actually about." My mom's voice was hoarse from screaming and crying. She looked around at the wreckage of her family. "What else could there possibly be?" she sobbed. "We confessed to murder, fraud, arson, incest, theft, and organ harvesting. What did we miss?" The lawyer reached into his briefcase. The room held its breath. He pulled out a small object. A pink plastic denture case. "Someone hid your grandfather's dentures as a prank 3 years ago," the lawyer said softly. "He never found them. He couldn't eat solid food for the last years of his life. He was miserable. He didn't care about the kidney or the fake Yale degree or the alpaca farm. He just wanted to know who took his teeth before he died." The room went dead silent. The weight of it crushed us. We had destroyed our lives, revealed our darkest sins, admitted to felonies that would send half of us to prison, all for a pair of false teeth. Everyone slowly turned to the 8-year-old in the corner. My little cousin Oliver. He was sitting there, 146 pounds overweight, munching on a fruit roll-up. He didn't even look up. He just chewed, loud and wet in the silence. "I put them in the toilet tank," Oliver mumbled, mouth full of blue sticky candy. "They looked funny floating there." He took another bite, oblivious to the destroyed lives around him. "Can we go to the beach house now?"